A hospitalized Trump supporter was recently interviewed by CBS News, and that interview, of course, is going viral because of some of the things that he said. Take a look.
Here I am recovering, getting out of here finally tomorrow. Am I going to get a vaccine? No.
Why not?
Because there's too many issues with these vaccines.
This father, former baseball coach, small business owner, and hunter, caught COVID and then he developed pneumonia.
Before you got sick, if you would have had a chance to get the vaccine and prevent this, would you have taken the vaccine?
Nope.
So you'd have gone through this?
I'd have gone through this, yes, sir. Don't shove it down my throat. That's what's local, state, federal administration is trying to do, is shove it down your throat.
What are they shoving? The science?
No, they're shoving the fact that that's their agenda. The agenda is to get you vaccinated.
Oh my God. Don't shove it down my throat. I don't want to shove it down my throat. All right, all right. Hold on there, buddy. So there's a lot to unpack here, but I want to start with the agenda. Oh, yeah, the government agenda. What's their agenda? To shove things down my throat. Okay. As far as that's concerned, the agenda is to get people vaccinated. He's absolutely right about that. Nailed it. Congratulations. That's literally the agenda. You got it. You figured that all by yourself, that the government during a pandemic wants to end the pandemic, wants to get people vaccinated to end the pandemic. Wow, incredibly astute, sir. The reason why, of course, is look, the pandemic's bad for business. This is not exactly altruistic here. So understand, yes, the vaccine absolutely could save your life and it protect your family. I got vaccinated. I suggest everybody do so. If you haven't already, I understand hesitancy, but please do so. You can protect yourself, protect your family, and it's just generally a good thing to do. But as far as the government's concerned, I really don't think that matters too much to the government. What matters is, to the government, is getting things back to normal as soon as possible. Meaning, of course, get people back to work. Get people back to work. The corporations will start making money again. The commerce will, continue or resume back to normal. Tax revenues are going to get going. And so all that stuff, right? Restarting the economic engine. That's really the forefront of what governments are concerned about. Okay? As far as politicians are concerned, well, politicians, yes, they may also care about you and your family, but also ending a pandemic, good for your resume. Or at least, re-election. Like, hey, I dealt with COVID-19. I got money to the community, and then I got the community back up and running, and I got you back to your job, and all that stuff. It looks good for re-election. Okay? So there's that. And look, let me add on to it. You want to stop hospitals from being slammed with COVID, right? With COVID patients. That's generally a good thing when they're not slammed with COVID patients. It means they can serve other people. Makes sense. So there's all that. That's the agenda. That's it. Now, of course, you ask right-wingers, and they're going to talk about how it's a communist plot to microchip you in preparation for Agenda 2030 when the lizard people come out, turn Christian men into women while femboys line up to punch God in the face. That's it. That's what, or whatever, like, crazy nutso thing that they're going to come up with next. Okay? Conservative media is a cancer on the United States. It's not even because they're conservative. They're not even conservative. I think, no, so-called conservative media is now just conspiracy theories and reactionary punditry. And that's it. There's no discussion about a conservative way to fix healthcare or to lower the price of prescription drugs. No discussion about dealing with pollution or climate change, or as I'm going to show you later on in the show, their solution to climate change is just adapt to it. Whatever. No, they're not conservative. It's all this reactionary bullshit. That's it. Or they talk about critical race theory, or they lie about critical race theory. Oh, it's being taught through K through 12. No, it's not. No, it's a college level graduate course. or they talk about woke corporations, which I have a problem with, because woke corporations, they're still doing the things that are negative to the planet, not paying their workers, polluting, getting tax cuts, and supporting, reactionary conservative politicians. That's not the problem they have with woke corporations. So they have the problem with the actual wokeness. And then, of course, you got Dr. Seuss, immigrant caravans, crime. Look at all the crime, Chicago. And then, of course, they literally are now telling people not to get vaccinated because, as he mentioned, all the problems with the vaccine. Okay, what's the problem with the vaccine? I mean, look, one of the vaccines that had the major issue was the J&J, the Janssen, right? The one shot. Turns out the issue in the Janssen was actually incredibly rare. And so adverse reactions to the vaccines are quite rare. People get hospitalized who have the adverse reactions and then usually get released within the day. So it's not quite as serious. In fact, they have people standing by. If you have anaphylactic shock, that's one of the adverse reactions. The vaccine site that I went to, for example, had an ambulance sitting by. And so there it is. Now, as far as deaths attributed to the vaccine, they're also incredibly rare. So now, according to the numbers, according to the CDC, more than 339 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine were administered in the United States from December 14th to 2020 through July 19th, 2021. So now, I'm going to give you some numbers here, and there's some caveats that go along with this, okay? So now, there is something called the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, or the VAERS. So they said that they had received 6,207 reports of deaths among people who received a COVID-19 vaccine. So now, VAERS, that system is entirely non-scientific and based on self-reporting and not an accurate measure of actual deaths from the COVID-19 vaccine, okay? Nonetheless, if you're to take those numbers, right, then, all right, 6,207 out of what? What was it? 339 million doses is an approximate death rate, assuming these numbers are correct, of about 0.0018%. Now, the FDA does require healthcare providers to report any death after COVID-19 vaccination to VAERS, even if it is unclear that the vaccine was the cause. So, again, the caveats with the VAERS, okay? And I'll get into that in more detail when I talk about the next segment. So now, if you're to take those numbers here, okay, and compare it to before we had the vaccines, when conservatives were telling us, 99% survival rate. That means I don't need to wear a mask. We don't need to shut down. Open it all up. 99% survival rate. You'll be fine. These same people are now freaking out about a 0.0018% possibly death rate from the COVID-19 vaccine. Does that make any sense? No, it's ridiculous. Now you might be thinking, well, okay, maybe they don't know how to do math. No, it's political for them. Understand that it's political. And here's the thing. They've been saying, the virus, it's the virus that has become political. They politicize this virus. No. Here's the thing. For one, the virus doesn't care if you're a Marxist or a lib or boogaloo boy. It's going to get you if it's going to get you. It will infect you if you let it, and sometimes it'll infect you, though rarely, even if you take all the different precautions. That said, it will, if you get the vaccine, you're much less likely to get it and much less likely to end up seriously ill in the hospital or dead. So, but anyway, the whole point here is saying it's political is actually projection, because you got hardcore conservatives that have created this as a litmus test, an identity around not wearing a mask and not getting a vaccine. And that's it. It's complete and utter reactionary bullshit. And this is despite all their different heroes, by the way. Donald Trump, who got vaccinated. Tucker Carlson. Laura Ingraham. Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity's openly saying, oh, I believe in science, get vaccinated. Even with all of them, which, by the way, Fox News has a literal vaccine passport to get into the building. You have to be vaccinated to get into the Fox News building. And yet, hardcore conservatives are still saying no. No, I'm a true conservative. I'm a true patriot. And if you tell me that it's, if you say that I should probably do something, and you offer it to me for free, I'm going to be completely skeptical about it. I'm going to do the opposite, actually. I'm going to not get a vaccine. I'm going to not wear a mask because fuck you, that's why. Freedom. The other thing that I hear too is, well, it's not safe yet. It hasn't been approved by the FDA. You think they're suddenly going to change their minds once the FDA approves it? I'm already reading articles where you have the FDA that's looking to approve it by the end of August. You think that's going to sway these people? The people who don't trust the government at all? You think they're waiting breathlessly on the FDA? No. Later on, when that happens, they're going to go, nope, still not getting it. I'm still not getting it. They're going to move the goalposts because that's what they do. It's not about the science. It's not about facts. It's all political for them. And that's it. And by the way, it doesn't help that there are people out there that are still drilling misinformation in other people's heads and spreading ridiculous conspiracy theories about the vaccine. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.